Welcome to Dear Husband, Dear Wife with Danny and Jenny Fuentes, a podcast about dating, marriage, and sex, where we break it down, keep it real, and unashamedly go there. Our goal is to foster a space that welcomes you to have conversations with us regarding these topics. And since we believe in seeking the truth about these topics, we guarantee to keep a biblical perspective in all things related. So go ahead and grab your favorite drink and or put those earbuds because it's about to get real.
Hey guys.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
It's been a couple of weeks, but we are back.
Welcome back.
Life happened, work happened.
Yeah.
And so we are back.
We also work regular jobs. So stop getting mad.
Yeah. I would say Danny traditionally works 40 hours a week. I'm the one who usually is pushing about 60 to 65 hours a week. So I apologize that
And if not that, she's traveling.
Yep, that's true. That's my
weeks.
job. Yep. So we are back and we are ready and we are excited. And thank you so much for your patience. And thank you for, honestly, just still willing to listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is Dear Husband, Dear Wife with Danny and Jenny Fuentes.
Yes.
We are the fountains.
The fountains. Fountains of youth.
Yes. Yeah. Well, no, not of youth, but you know.
The fountains of youth. We're young.
Well, today's episode is one that is very dear and near to my heart because if you are listening to this on a Wednesday, May 4th, may the 4th be with you.
All you Star Wars nerds.
Then you would know, for those who are very dear and near close to our lives, know that this is, tomorrow is our 10-year
anniversary.
Wedding anniversary. Woo woo.
Party sound in the background.
Yep. So, with that being said, we are excited. Today's episode's about the reality. We're just going to talk about 10 years later and what have we learned in 10 years of marriage. So, yeah. The highs and the lows, it's about to get real.
Yeah.
All right. So, I would say, why don't you tell me what are like 2 or 3 things that you've learned in our marriage, babe, in the 10 years, and then I'll either echo or I'll share 2 or 3 different ones.
In 10 years, I've learned that I have to be very patient with you. There are things that, don't always squeeze in the way I'd like them to.
That's true.
So, obviously, Jenny comes from a different upbringing in comparison from my upbringing.
What would you say is different?
You guys are definitely more like family oriented kind
Absolutely.
of thing. You guys take that into consideration always. As for me, I didn't grow up like that. Not that, we just didn't care, but, you don't realize the things that you don't do until you really pay attention. So, I did learn about how fragile you are. So you're not a guy, so I can't roughhouse with you.
Absolutely not. But explain fragile, because fragile can be a negative connotation.
Fragile, not like in a bad way, but fragile in the sense of like you're not a guy, so I can't assume that certain things won't affect you.
Yeah.
And then just being more. Just being more attentive, again, being more patient and just more considerate about your feelings.
Okay, so let's break it down. Patience. In 10 years of marriage, men and women, patience is going to definitely be something that you are going to need. I think patience is something that I echo with you too, because I think, like you said, we've been raised completely different. It's 2 different people coming in together, living under one household, and saying yes for an eternity, basically.
Yeah.
So, I think one of the biggest things and challenges of marriage is knowing having your expectations and also realizing that those expectations may or may not be realistic. And being patient with your significant other and also with yourself, because you are going to change. You are going to be an individual who's going to go through different phases in your 10 years of marriage.
Yeah.
I think for patience also, yes, the smallest things. Like we've been married for 10 years, guys, and I can't tell you this. Y'all, like, Danny leaves his freaking socks in the corner of the bed.
This is a new habit I've picked up.
He has a horrible habit. And if
But
not,
I like it.
10 years later, he spits still sometimes into the
true.
wooden floor. Like, after countless of times I've been telling you.
I'm not actually, well, it's not spitting, but when you eat, eat something, you had a meal and, you have like little itty bitty, tiny leftovers just kind of floating in your mouth.
Gross.
So I spit them out. That's just what I do. But what's funny? I do that because I saw my dad do that.
I don't care if you saw your dad do it. It's been 10 years. Like, we should not be doing that.
Because my dad did it, I picked up on it. And 10 years later into marriage.
I will say that
being married and I'm still doing it.
That really boils me. Like, it gets me so mad.
There was a moment where I had an uncontrollable habit of just actually spitting into the ground.
Gross.
So I remember at one point that started trickling into my home, where I found myself spitting inside the house on the floor.
Yep. So
that was funny.
That's sometimes that I've learned to have patience with you when it comes to that, because I swear, Danny, it just really boils my skin that you actually do that. I just can't. I just can't.
Yeah. Well, what are we gonna do?
10 years later, he's still doing it.
10 years later, I'm probably going to die spitting food out of my mouth.
Yeah, well, okay, it's fair for me to share that I have to be patient with you when it comes to you and that habit. What is one habit that I have that you have had to, become patient with?
Huh?
What is a habit that I have that you're like, gosh, Lord, give me patience with Jenny? So
it's the whole you never close any drawer or cabinet.
Shut up! Not even.
Yes. Okay. It's the drawers in the bathroom. You never close them right, ever. And so Jenny has this little pink makeup bag.
And I don't wear makeup, by the way.
She doesn't even wear makeup. She has a freaking makeup bag with makeup stuff in it, and she doesn't wear makeup. So every time she opens that drawer, the corner of where the zipper meets sticks out. And so when she closes it, that thing is always sticking out of the drawer.
That is true.
And so I always have to open it, and then I got to turn that thing sideways so that it squeezes into the, in the drawer just fine, and then close it.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
It never works.
Yes.
It never works.
So I have a bad habit. You have a bad habit. 10 years later, after my husband has told me so many times to close the doors very well, I still don't do it.
And she's never going to do it. So what am I going to do? Probably one day while she's asleep, I'm just going to unscrew every single drawer and cabinet door and then just leave them unscrewed. So like that, we don't have that problem.
Oh, gosh. All right. So I would hey, that reminds me of the day that I took a nap, I think, when we were living in Solvang. And
yeah, like I said, it bothers me because it's not completely open and it's not fully closed. So it just irritated me.
It's ajar. It's like a door that's kind of ajar. So it's a drawer that's ajar.
So Jenny fell asleep on the couch and I was just fed up. There was 3 drawers that she hadn't closed right, and I got annoyed. So instead of waking her up, which was my first initial reaction, I let her sleep. And so I just went to the kitchen and I opened every single cabinet and drawer in the kitchen. The only thing that wasn't open was the fridge, which I thought about doing, but it would have beeped, and so I would have woken her up. But I opened sorry. I opened every single drawer and cabinet, and then Jenny woke up, and then she went into the kitchen because she was munchy, and then she realized that everything was open, and she asked me why every cabinet and drawer was open. And I replied by saying, Jenny, you opened them. And she's like, what? I was like, yeah, babe.
Mind you that I was half awake, half asleep.
She was like half awake, half asleep. She'd just woken up. And I was like, Jenny, like, you opened it. She's like, I did? I was like, yeah, babe. Like, I was like, you open stuff and then you never really close them. And so they just opened up themselves. She's like, but all of them? I was like, yeah, babe, all of them. You opened all of them. And she just had this look on her face like she felt so guilty. And she's like, babe, I'm so sorry. So I kind of let that one ride I was riding that one for a bit.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
And then he confessed that he had done it, and I got really, really upset.
Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, patience is huge within 10 years. All right. Anything else that you would say within 10 years that you've learned in our marriage? What is something that you've learned, I guess?
Yeah, babe.
If you could give one little sentence of something that you've learned in our 10 years of marriage.
I would say that
if we had the rights of the Jeopardy song, we would play it right now.
No, I would just, it's, time goes by and people change.
Yeah.
And you hope that you change for the better. And when you do, then, you get to see that. But I think for us, or at least for me, from what I've learned is, I've come to finally learn that marriage is not easy. So,
yeah,
I have to put in work. I have to remind myself to constantly put in work, to keep this marriage alive. Not that it's dying, but so that we don't go back to those moments where, we're married and then we just hit the autopilot button and then, we're cruising on cruise control.
It's actually really good.
But to actually, to be attentive to the marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I've learned.
Yeah. Thanks, babe, for sharing. Let's see. My takeaways about our 10 years of being married or being a wife in general, I would say is, number one, I echo what my husband said, patience. I think you have to have patience in your marriage because every day you're learning something new about your spouse. Every day, like Danny all of a sudden has this new habit about his socks, right? So it's like, now I got to deal with that. And, so it's like, so it's like there's a lot of patience. Every day you're evolving. Every day you are changing. Every day you are becoming hopefully a better person and improving. But that means you're going to make mistakes. That means you're going to, say things that are probably going to be hurtful, but you learn and you're improving and whatnot. So patience is the number one key that I've learned in our 10 years of marriage. I think the second thing that I've learned in our 10 years of marriage is that we set the tone. We set the tone in our marriage. So like it's not just me and it's not just you. Like it's the two of us combined. And what I mean by setting the tone is, again, if the last episode that we recorded was like, does the honeymoon phase die, right? Like, again, you set that tone up. And the way that you both choose to carry yourselves is what's going to influence your marriage and is the way that your marriage is going to be. So one of the things that I love about my husband, like I've said it and I've quoted it many times and I've probably echoed this plenty of times in this podcast, is Danny makes me laugh. Danny is someone that...
I'm pretty funny, guys.
He's... whatever.
I'm very funny.
Okay, so Danny makes me laugh and there's a lot of joy, and because he makes me laugh, I used to be a little bit more serious. Like, I'm not...
Yeah, that's true. You're very serious.
Yeah, like I used to not be like super silly or anything like that. After 10 years of marriage, y'all, I have to say this. I do the stupidest thing sometimes because,
she's definitely picked up on some of my habits.
Yeah, some of them.
Where I've seen them in action toward me, and I've said to myself, "What have I done? Why did I allow this?"
Yep.
So, but other than that.
Yeah, so
I change it.
I think, we set the tone of our marriage. And for all those couples out there, you set the tone for your marriage. It's not just the wife or the husband. It's both of you guys setting the tone. We choose to laugh more than to bicker at each other. We choose to date each other instead of becoming complacent. We choose to dream big versus staying stuck.
we choose to put God in the center of it all, instead of trying to do this in our own way. I think that's big things that I've learned. And then I think my third takeaway is this: is without Jesus at the center of your marriage, all of this is like in vain. If we talk about the Lord building the house of and that's usually in context, we're talking about the church, right? If the Lord doesn't build the house, then in vain the man builds it. It's the same thing in your marriage. If the Lord is not building your marriage, then in vain this marriage exists. So in 10 years, the reason we've been able to be, I would say, happy, content, successful in our marriage is because the Lord does genuinely build this house.
Yeah.
Like he really, really does. One of the things that I love doing with Danny that we've done since the beginning of our marriage is that we pray together at night. There are days where I do fall asleep before him, and whatnot. And
there are days where she's praying and she falls asleep while she's praying. And I'm like, what?
Yes. But even at that, we find a way to center God as the main focus of our marriage. Or with decision making, like right now we are making big decisions, and I appreciate my husband constantly reminding me, like, is God in this? Is God saying yes to this? Is God the one opening these doors? Is God, like at the center of it all? And vice versa. I've had my moments where I have told Danny, like, is God in the center of this all? And blah, blah. So we make it very like important to put God in the midst of our marriage. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think like that's like another takeaway that I've learned. Now, if I had to put and summarize our 10 years in one sentence, I would say this. It's in 10 years, you will experience joy, death, laughter, pain, sickness, poverty, and wealth. And what I mean by that is you will enjoy your marriage. Either people in your life are going to pass away or some part of you is going to die once you get married, because it's the old you, the single you no longer applies to your marriage. You're going to experience poverty in areas where, whether it is emotional, spiritual, mental, or even financially in some cases. But then you are going to experience wealth because you're not doing this alone. You have someone to walk this alongside. And whether it's financial, emotional, God always provides, right? And we've seen that. And there's going to be laughter and there's going to be pain, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, and even spiritually in your marriage. And you have to learn how to overcome those things. You cannot, and I say this, you can't give up. I mean, marriage is something very beautiful. It's worth fighting for your marriage. Like thinking about why you first deeply, genuinely fell in love with this person and what made you want to say yes to this person. So to me, I think that's my biggest takeaway in 10 years.
10 years is a long time, guys. I'm literally just going back, just thinking about how it was when we first got married and the kind of people that we were when we first got married. Again, we change, life is a constant surprise, and, there's just a lot that we don't know, or, a lot that we can, there's not much that we can see in regard to what tomorrow will bring.
Yeah.
But, we've been through a lot. We've had a lot of good days. We've had a lot of bad days. And I've mentioned this before, our marriage is not perfect. And, we're not here to give the impression that we have every single answer to every question.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there are some of you listening who have had, 30 years into marriage, 40, 50, 60. And, you guys are the ones with the golden nuggets. But, we're just here, sharing our testimony in regard to just life and marriage. And so, just like everything else, as time goes by, you build on it, you work with it, and you find, you find the things that can improve, and you let go of the things that hurt. We let go of the things that are not of benefit to any of us. And so, I've learned a lot in 10 years. And it's 10 years. It's a long time. 10 years ago, I was 25, just getting married.
Yeah.
And I had no idea why. Like, I was just scared and nervous, but I was excited at the same time. And I just kept telling myself, I want this to be different. I don't want this to be a marriage where I'm being hurtful and disrespectful and causing a lot of pain. But, I want to be the guy that, that cares for my wife and is warm-hearted and listens. And so I still have a lot of areas in my life to work on, but at the same time, I'm proud enough to say that I know I've learned a lot, and I'm constantly still learning to be a better husband. I don't assume that I've got it, and I don't walk around like I've nailed it. I continue to live in the perception that there's still more for me to learn. So,
yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm excited that we are celebrating 10 years. Nowadays, as we know, studies show that marriages tend to last between 7 to 8 years at most, and I'm glad we made it past that threshold.
I think even less now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, for all of you out there who are, pushing 30, 40, 50, 60 years married, congratulations. And we honor that, and we salute you for having spent that much time with your significant other.
Yeah, and it is our prayer, I think, if anything, it's our prayer for all of the marriages out there that, you have a very successful marriage. That's why we do this podcast, is to just talk about real life. And it's two imperfect people talking about an imperfect marriage, but providing you with, tools should you choose to take them. And should they apply to you to help you, thrive in your marriage. We've made a lot of mistakes in our 10 years of marriage. We've grown a lot also, and we've developed new mindsets and new trajectories of when it comes to the way that we want to continue to live our lives as individuals and also as a married couple. And yeah, I think that's big and that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? What
Well,
else, babe?
I don't know. I think if anything, I just want to say thank you, baby, for loving me for the last 10 years. To be honest with you, it's been 17 years since Danny and I have known each other. So
It's a long time.
it is a freaking long time.
17 years. Yeah, it's
yeah.
true. I was actually 17 when I met you.
Yeah. So it's been 17 years since Danny have known each other, and since Danny and I have known each other. And again, in 17 years, we've experienced dating, broken engagement, marriage, honeymoon, highs and lows, death, loss in so many ways. We've been jobless. We've lost our jobs. There's
Been broke.
so much that we've been through.
We've been broke. We've almost had our vehicles repossessed.
Yep. There was
We've
days where we didn't
we've
know
had
what we were
days
going
where
to
we
eat,
didn't-
or
where we didn't eat.
yeah. So I think there's so much that we've shared, high and lows. But through it all I have to say is, first and foremost, I just want to thank God for being at the center of it all, and for not allowing us to give up on each other.
Yeah.
And second of all, I just want to say thank you to you for
You're
loving
welcome.
for loving me.
You are welcome.
Shut up. For loving me and caring for me in such a loving and tender way. I will say this, I am spoiled.
Yeah. I mean, guys, I'll be honest. There's a reason why I don't have a 401k. Okay? I don't believe in that stuff. Why? Because I'd rather invest in all of my wife's worldly desires than to invest in our future.
Okay, hold up.
I'm living in the now, not tomorrow. That's my
No.
that's my
Let's
mindset.
Okay, let's be serious now. It's not worldly desires.
Well, when I say worldly desires, I meant just whatever it is.
I
you
really
want.
like food.
Yeah, we're big food people.
We're foodies. So the truth of the
Hence,
matter is date nights and
yeah.
going out to eat is my
I've
thing.
invested in this gut, and it hasn't always given me a positive return, but It's okay. I'll take it.
Yeah. So I think if anything in 10 years, I just have learned a lot about myself also. And I've learned a lot about my husband. And I'm not the same Jenny that I was when I first got married, or actually even before, like the first time that I met you, I would say. Then the Jenny that was married within the first year, it's not the same Jenny that you now see in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Both physically and emotionally and spiritually and mentally, I've changed.
Oh, babe, we've all changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten fatter
I've gotten my grays in.
than I'd like to be.
I've gotten a lot more grays than I want in my head.
It's okay, babe.
Yeah.
We're on the healthy road to success. At this rate, we're on the healthy pathway to success.
Oh, God. May the Lord have mercy on us for sure. Okay, well, y'all, I would love to hear if you, honestly, like if you've been married for more than 10 years, please, below in this comments, like just comment and tell us, like, how
we
have
don't have
you...
a YouTube screen. You can't comment below.
No. You can do it on the air...
On the...
I was going to say AirPod.
What do we have? Do we have Instagram?
We do have Instagram.
I didn't even know we had it.
Totally. I would love to hear. It's been 10 years. Like, or more
Jenny's
than 10
the one
years.
that goes through the Instagram stuff.
Yes. So we would love to just hear your thoughts. And if you are a newly married person, we would love to hear what have been some of the highs and lows.
If you're engaged, ready for that next chapter, let us know. Again, we're here to share our life, our story. We don't have the answers to everything, and we like to be of some guidance.
And I just want to be mindful. Again, we're talking from a perspective of two individuals who are married and have no kids. I understand that kids definitely will change the dynamics of our marriage. And they do change the dynamics of everyone's marriage. So, again, I'm just sharing and saying, hey, like, this is us, two individuals in our mid-30s who have no kids, and we're speaking from this perspective.
Yeah.
Okay? I think that's it.
Yeah.
Well, happy anniversary, baby.
Happy anniversary.
And thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, thank you guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Hope everyone has a good week and weekend. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in. We really enjoyed hanging out with you. If you really enjoyed hanging out with us too, then we ask you for one simple favor. Go ahead and leave us a review and let us know how we did. We thank you so much and we really appreciate your time. We look forward to seeing you next week. Adios.